Hello, welcome back to my channel, and anybody that's new, welcome. My name is Debbie. I'm the crafty shopper. Today we are going to do a manger using Dollar Tree Jenga blocks. You can find them in the kids section. You can order them online if you're in the US. Some, I've heard from some you can order a minimum of 3. Some I've heard you had to order a case. If you sign up with the dollartree.com website, they do offer 50% off shipping to your home. Keep an eye out for that. You sign up for the newsletter, and I get them especially in this time of year, I find that they send out every other week. They're sending out a coupon. You could also make friends with the manager, any of the staff. Usually they're pretty good. I've lucked out here in Canada. We can't order online, but whenever I'm looking for something, they're able to save it for me when it comes in, and I grab it right away. So, you could also talk to the DT staff if you're having a hard time finding any. Next thing we're going to go on to is the glue. I suggest only using wood glue. I do use Wellbond. I have other crafters that use the Dollar Tree wood glue. I've never seen it in any of my stores, so I'm just assuming it's not in Canada, only on the US side. This can be bought at Rona or Lowe's here in Canada, as well in the US. I've heard from fellow crafter Nikki. She says you can buy it at Hobby Lobby in the US. I do not suggest using any hot glue gluing your blocks because they don't seal properly when you put them together. And if you do have any glue that does stick out between the cracks, it is hard to pull off. And sometimes I do use hot glue, but it's only to glue a piece or two, or just making an existing I guess putting 2 crafts together and just using a little bit for hold, but I would not suggest using it on a build. It will last longer if you use the proper glue. I use the L shape because it reminds me of an L ruler. You can find that in the hardware section at DT. They're really good for keeping your blocks when you are gluing them together. This build will be flat. There'll be no stacked blocks. What I mean by that is they're all going to be flat, glued flat like this. I do pre-glue pieces of my builds together, so the video is not very long. When I say stacked, it's just putting the blocks like this. If you watched my past videos, I usually say stacked is like that, but that's not for this video, but I just thought I'd mention that. We're going to move on to the base, and this build is going to be 207 blocks. I always suggest watching the whole video, because sometimes through the video, this creation, I kind of build it as we go. I do have an idea. Sometimes I do alter it a little bit, but for now it's 207 blocks. And I'm hiding this so it won't look so confusing. I do suggest getting a pen and paper, and this is what I do for all my builds, plus I'm recording just to let you guys know, and writing down the numbers, maybe a little note. I'm just writing, say for example, this is the base, what's under here, and then I just put the numbers down, and it just keeps your idea when we're talking about a lot of numbers with counting blocks, just to keep it fresh in your head so you're not having to watch the video over and over again. So we're going to start with the first row, and it's 15 flat. So you're going to glue 15 flat here. Another row of 15 flat. And one more row of 15 flat. As you can see here, I'm going to move this out of the way. So that's the base, and I'm just going to show you one side. So we're going to start with one of the sides. It's going to look like a Christmas tree. Well, the shape of it anyways. The next side, this first row we're going to do for one of the sides is 27 flat. Another row of 27 flat. And another row of 27 flat. That's 3 rows of 27, which is 81. And you're going to need 2 of these. Next thing we are going to do, I'm going to put the base here. Now you are going to line up the blocks. I'm gonna put some glue here, Wellbond. Half on this side. And you're gonna bring it like this. And then it's gonna go straight up until you can make sure that you just see that it's even, not leaning one side to more to the next. And then you're gonna just pour some, I know this is off a little bit and I don't wanna stick my head under the camera. Just wanna make sure that the base is touching straight. And then you're gonna just pour some Wellbond glue there, and then you're gonna leave it at least for 6 to 8 hours before you move it. So now that I left this overnight, I just wanna touch base with you. So it is solid, as you can see. You will have just a little bit of movement, and that's only because the blocks, like you can see here, but it is solid to stand on its own. Now, once I left it for about 6 hours yesterday before bed, I did flip it over, and I'm just gonna show you here, right in the cracks, because it's not flush, because it's on an angle underneath. I actually just put some Wellbond in extra in the cracks here, and I also painted some extra glue just with the paintbrush right on the insides of the lines. I didn't do the top, I actually, underneath, I did on top here just an extra line of glue. You might see and be able to see the shininess. Now that we have that done, and then I left that overnight, so it is solid. Going to use some gel stain. This is just from Rona. It's just some dark walnut. You can paint it whatever color you want. You could use DT paint. If you do use the paint, just make sure you double check before you do glue it together that you don't have a lot of glue stains on it. I do have a couple on there that I didn't file off, but we are gonna add some stuff to it once it is stained, so it's not gonna be so visible on the sides. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a piece of black foam board. I have it underneath already. I cut a smaller piece. It was just too big for my area right here. And you're just gonna use a chalk when you trace it on the side, on both sides. I did at the bottom of at the foam board, it level here, so then I don't have to cut the bottom part out. So when you take it apart here, all you have to do is cut around here. You will cut in a little bit more into the lines, about probably a 1/4 to 1/2 inch prior, going all the way around, just because when you do put the chalk on the side of the board, you're doing a little bit more out of the border. Now, when you actually trace with chalk, the best thing why I like using chalk is because once you have it on the side, you can just rub it off and it comes off easily. You just damp it a little bit and it will just come off, as opposed to using a black marker that you will get on the edge or anything like that. And I've always just like using chalk when I'm tracing because it's just easy enough to get off. And then you're going to use an X-Acto knife to cut this out. Do not use scissors because it won't work out really well and it'll make it really clumpy. All right, I just wanted to show you. So now that we have that done, we're not going to do anything with this one just yet, only because I am throwing a few ideas around. I wanted to get it cut first before we started adding the green to the sides, and it would be much easier to cut it out before you put the greens on. Otherwise, if the greens are on, you're not going to get a better cut than that. So remove that out of the way. Now, I've been to Dollar Tree. I didn't really find anything garland. They just had this garland. I wanted something a little different, more looking like tree branches. Maybe your DT has some garland. Mine didn't have a big selection. I went to 3. I went to our other store called Dollarama and they had this, but I plucked things off already. I already took everything off, as you can see the little stems here. So I took a bunch of these off. the edges, and then I just cut them down a little bit shorter. I will keep these and the pine cones for another craft, but I really loved how the look of these were, and that's exactly what I was looking for. A couple dollars more, but well worth what I wanted. Now, cutting them down on both sides of the tree. This is the top of the tree. It's a little bit angled because I'm trying to show it sideways than the other way. I'm going to start gluing, just hot glue, and I'm going to hot glue them down flat, even with the, even where that's a little bit bumpy. And I'm just going to keep going down along the side just like that. That's why I wasn't really worried about the glue mark showing, because it's just going to be concealed a little bit with all the green going down. I'm just going to hot glue those just all the way down. And I did count, I did have enough. So on the one garland, I think it was $4.50, and I ended up having over 31 of these little stems on here. So it'll work out just perfect. And I'm just going to keep going down and just like this, and finish with another 2 once it's in place, and I'm going to do both sides. Now that I finished it, I did put some on the front edge of the tree. I didn't do the bottom yet, but I think I might do the bottom. I haven't decided. We'll see when I move along. I ended up gluing them on more of a fuller effect than I thought I would. I did leave this spot open to place a star. You can put an angel, even a bow. I haven't decided yet as I'm building it with you guys. I did find these in my stash, and I wanted to show you. You could find more of these floral picks at DT. I think they come, I don't know if it's 3 or 5 in a pack. Maybe somebody can let me know in the comments so others can find out as well. I only had 3 on hand, so I'm not sure if it was 3 or 5. But you could cut these stems off and use the longer stem as well when you're putting them on, because I did end up cutting these separately instead of putting it on in the 3 shape like a foot style. I ended up just cutting them separately. And I know I said I wasn't gonna add more blocks, but this is, I build with you guys when I'm making my design, so I do have an idea, but sometimes I do switch it up, and this is gonna be one of these videos that I'm gonna add some more blocks. Now you're like, where are we gonna add these blocks? With the backing that we cut out already, I'm trying to find it here. You can totally do it. I thought about different scenarios of things I wanted in the back, and I don't know. I went through a bunch in my head, and I don't know. It just doesn't feel right for me. Maybe you can think of something creative. I thought about putting maybe music notes like the old rugged cross. There's a bunch of different things. I just played around, and I actually had the printed music sheets and everything. They weren't big enough. I'd have to alter it a bit, but it still just didn't feel right. Then I was playing around with some blocks. I'm like, how can I add blocks without cutting them, and to add a backing with the blocks so it blends in with the side, being more of the rustic vibe, so to speak. So what we are going to do, and it's probably not going to be the, we're going to add 30 blocks. We're going to do 2 rows of 5, 5 and 5, and they're going to be flat. I'm going to stick that right on the bottom right here. I'm just going to make sure that we're getting this in the video. Then we're going to add another 2 rows of 4 and 4. I'm going to stick that. And when you're sticking them in, you're just going to make sure you put it at the lowest point of the bottom row where it's just about to stick out, and you're going to glue them on, but you're going to turn it over when you glue it on, and I'll show you what I mean. Another 2 rows of 3, that's 6. And they should all evenly space out with the rows. And you'll know when you do it upside down. I'm going to show you how you're going to glue it. That's going to be easier than doing it this way, but I just wanted to show you from the camera. Another 2 rows of 2, which we're going to go here. I think this one can move down a bit. And then just 1 and 1, so an extra 2. And I think this is what my idea, trying to create this. So they will be evenly spaced all the way down. We are going to stain them. I am going to do the chestnut like I did the original part. But when you're gluing them on, you can just turn it upside down like that. And you're just going to make sure that as you, I'm going to move this just a little bit up there. When you're gluing them on, that they're even. And you're just going to put your dabs on. And it can stick out a little bit because it's going to be painted the stain color. So it's going to blend in the back. And you're just going to glue them on like this. And I'm just going to glue them on. It's getting late here, so I'm just going to let them glue on overnight. And they should be evenly placed as you go along. You're just making sure that the widest point on the bottom hits here. Even if it sticks out in the corner, that's a bit. And if you want to cut them, that's great too. I'm not going to go through that effort of cutting them. And just like that. And you can glue them after you stain them overnight. Now we're going to add lights in it. I'm going to add these fairy lights. Oh, they're stuck here. These ones are from Amazon. They're just the 10 lights on them. Sometimes I put 20. On these ones, I'm just going to use the 10. I'm going to glue the one side of the battery pack, and it's going to be on this side here, just that you can open it to change the battery if you need to. And I'm going to glue it at the back side on the bottom part of the back where I'm going to turn it this way. I'm just going to stick it under there. And I got 10, so I'm going to put the top of the point, which would be 5 on each side. And then I'm just going to hot glue it right in the back part of the tree and glue it all the way down the sides and out as much as it comes, whatever I have left with it, all the way down on both sides. All right, we're gonna put some, I got this mini tree topper from Dollar Tree, just snapped off the end with my wire cutters. I'm just gonna make sure this is in the camera. I'm gonna glue it right on top, right like that. Just go with the gold. I had this lifting up on one side because of the battery pack on here. Now, on the back top of the wood in the back, and the lights turned out really good, and I'm going to show you. They were pretty even too. And just the way it worked with putting it up in the middle part at the top here, just it went the 5 on each side. I just left these ones in the back near the bottom. So I'm going to take some more leaves. I'm glad I got the extra garland. And I'm just going to glue them like I did on the side here, but I am just going to glue them so it conceals the top of the wood. It gives a little bit more green to the back of this tree, this slash manger stable. We're just going to glue them right on top of there. So I'm just going to do, I'm not going to do the very top one. I don't think, 'cause you can't really see it much in the corner, but I am going to do the bottom here. And the best thing about that, and I'm just going to shut this lights off here, is that on the back here, it's just going to, actually I will do the top. They're going to conceal just the top part and blend in just because it is, let's see. You can see the board sticking out just a little bit. So it'll just blend more into the back of it. So the backing turned out really well, just right on top. I'll flip it over and just show you. Just one on each side. Now I'm just gonna move this. So we're gonna do a base on it. We're gonna grab one of these crates from Dollar Tree. Excuse me. Dollar Tree has the nautical rope. Now this one is with the thicker diameter, and this is the 2.3 meter. I was gonna paint this, but I'm just gonna totally cover it, and I'm gonna make sure that you can't see the crate underneath. And what I'm gonna do is, well, I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna wrap it. So this is gonna be where the tree sits on. And I'm just gonna hot glue, I'm gonna take that wrapper off. I'm gonna start at the back so you don't see the seams where you glue it on. And you just wanna make sure that it's nice and tight as you go all the way around and wrap it until you can't see the crate anymore. Now that I have it done all the way around, there's a little part here and it dips in, that's fine. You're not gonna see that little top part there. I'm just gonna use some Wellbond and glue it right on top. Now on the inside of the manger, where I'm gonna put right here, I got my little figurines. I was able to get some like I did last year when I did my other Jenga block manger. These ones are from Dollarama. They're $4. They're quite pricey. I tried looking online too, and I find that they're very hard to find. Now, if any of you watching, if you've seen these little figurines, especially with my friends in the US, because these are from Dollarama, here another dollar store, which is similar to Dollar Tree, please post in the comments where you've seen maybe the figurines, if someone's having a hard time finding them. I know Dollar Tree here does not have these at all. I don't think I've ever seen any of some of the crafting groups. I've never seen that they're from Dollar Tree, but maybe Dollar Tree Plus, Dollar General, maybe some of the other local stores, Family Dollar, Hobby Lobby. Just comment below, and everybody check if you're looking for the figurines. Maybe you'll be able to find someone will let you know. So I have the three here, Mary, Joseph, and Jesus. And I'm just gonna place them on the bottom part of the tree, and I'm just gonna use some Spanish moss around them. I am just gonna hot glue them on and just spread out some Spanish moss. Once I'm do that, I will turn the camera around and we'll show you what it looks like finished. All right, guys, this is it. I know you got to see all the background. Hiding behind that board is a big mess of my crafting supplies. Anyway, so we have the star up there and just down. I think it turned out really well. So there's the rope, and I just really liked it, how it turned out. I did add the green around the tree. I wasn't going to, but then afterwards looking at, I think it just actually made it, just completed the project. I wanted to thank everybody that commented. I'm surprised my channel has reached as far as it has. I did start a Craft Buddy post on my Facebook, The Crafty Shopper. If you're looking for a craft buddy, please head on over, look through the comments. Maybe you'll find a neighbor or a friend that lives near you, or you can talk to anybody on Facebook Messenger as well. Thank you for watching. Happy crafting, and see you soon. Bye.